Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Canada's Movie and TV Hosers. My name is Gregory Barrett and with me is my lovely wife Christine.
Hi there.
So, breaking news today. Want to start off right away with this.
Oh yeah, I don't have any party hats. I didn't get a chance to go and get any because I have a cold today, but
Okay.
we would have them if I hadn't been sick.
Breaking news just came in this weekend from the Hollywood Reporter. Our favorite CEO, Bob Chapek of Disney Corporation, has been fired by the board.
Gregory's very happy about this.
Well, this guy's done nothing but stumble from one blunder to another.
As you've heard on this show.
Okay. Well, let me just give you a quick rundown, okay?
We've heard
Bob
it.
Chapek took over in the pandemic, and then he immediately started to dismantle what his predecessor, Bob Iger, did, who led the company to
He's back.
to unprecedented success. I was getting to that. He's back now. The board has put him in as a temporary 2-year contract because he already retired and left.
Oh, yeah.
So Bob Chapek dismantled what Bob Iger has done, even though he took it to the company to record-breaking success and increased their market share considerably. And then he went into the whole Scarlett Johansson fiasco with Black Widow movie.
We didn't talk about that on the show
Okay.
yet.
So that was last year in 2021 where Scarlett Johansson and her people had to sue Disney over her movie Black Widow, which is the Marvel movie.
Right, because it wasn't supposed to be released on streaming. It was supposed to be in theaters.
Yes, because part of her contract was, and her money that she paid would be dependent on box office results.
Yes.
So when she's paid a certain amount of money, I don't remember what it was, and then you're supposed to also get profits from the box office, but they take that away from you and just put it right on streaming without telling you or negotiating that.
Like
That's a breach of contract.
One of the first times this was done.
Yeah, this was in Ireland. It happened with all the studios, and
Yes.
but this was the biggest one. And the reason, not only did he do that, which pissed them off, but then they launched an attack ad under his leadership attacking Scarlett Johansson for trying to get what she was owed.
Her contract. They at the time probably when they signed it, they never knew a pandemic was coming and all this was going to happen.
Exactly.
But you sign a contract. That's what it says. You have to go up to that.
They slandered her in the media, in public,
I don't think.
and in the end,
I don't think it worked. That can't.
no,
be.
it didn't. In the end, it backfired, and what happened was Disney had to cut her a big check behind closed doors,
Right.
and then they move on happy, and it's business, right?
I think the worst thing they've done to Scarlett Johansson is the writing of that character.
Disagree. Black Widow is great.
The writing for that character is awful. And that's one of the reasons why I don't
We're getting
care for a lot of
sidetracked
those
here.
movies.
So that was the second one. I mean, Bob Chapek dismantled the parks, so people are big fans of the Disney parks. That's how he came up in the corporation, was through parks, and they say it's just terrible now. I don't know, because I don't go to Disney theme parks, because I don't live in the
Gregory
U.S.
doesn't like Disney theme parks. He's the only person I know in all of my life that's been to a Disney theme park and had a bad time as a child.
That's besides the point.
I unfortunately have never been able to go to the Disney theme park. I think maybe I would have had a bad time too, but I do like rides, especially when I was a kid.
I found the rides lackluster.
I think I would have been scared with It's a
That's-
Small World.
Once again, getting back to Bob Chapek. Don't get me started on that thing there. The stuff that he's done with Disney Plus and all the Star Wars and Marvel Disney Plus series that has his hands all over it because he dismantled the management structure that Bob Iger had left.
Right.
What he did was he took the heads of the studios, Lucasfilm, Pixar, Marvel Studios, the creative talents,
Right.
and he put middle management above them, in between him and those
We
executives,
didn't have to talk to them.
so that these creative people in charge of the studios, such as Kevin Feige in charge of Marvel Studios and Kathleen Kennedy in charge of Lucasfilm, have to answer to these business people who
Right.
don't know anything about the entertainment industry, and all they know is numbers and business.
The accountants.
Yes, and the business majors,
Don't put the accountants in
which
charge of
is
something.
why we've been getting some lackluster Disney Plus content. So anyway, as of this weekend, the Disney board removed him, and now they got Bob Iger back for another 2 years.
Happy.
Well,
Should send them your suggestions.
Yeah, I'm sure Bob Iger would want to hear
Well,
what some
you're
random
his biggest-
Canadian wants to hear.
Listen, you're one of his biggest fans here in
I'm not
Canada.
his biggest fan. I didn't like what Bob Chapek
Okay.
did. He just went from one disaster to another. And
The two
recently
Bobs.
we talked about the hiring freeze and the layoffs and the
Right.
change of the rates with Disney Plus.
Right.
And that's what forced the board to kick him out. Apparently, according
Oh.
to this article that I read in the Hollywood Reporter,
Yes.
when he announced on his investors call that they'd be making layoffs,
Yeah.
he hadn't told Disney HR department about it yet.
Oh, well.
That's kind of a problem, because you want to let HR know that they're going to be laying off a bunch of people.
Ugh.
Anyway, we won't have to worry about him, and hopefully we don't hear about this guy
And I'm
anymore.
glad we don't work for Disney.
I wish I had some of that sweet Disney money.
Not if we were
But
being laid off.
They don't pay us or anything. Okay, so next we want to talk, it's Monday right now.
Yes.
We want to talk about the weekend box office for this latest weekend from November
Okay.
18th to the 20th,
Let's talk
2022.
about it.
So number 1 was Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
No surprise.
Its second weekend,
Right?
and still number 1, came in at 67.3 million domestic, which is a 63% drop.
I was going to say, that's not in the hundreds. Oh.
But it's their second weekend.
I know.
Okay, it opened at 180 million. So when you open that high, it tends to drop a lot.
Is
Although,
that I think Black Adam did pretty good both first weeks
oh yeah, it
compared
did.
to this movie.
Well, this second weekend made more than Black Adam did in its first weekend.
I know that, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a very big drop.
Yeah.
So what are people saying about this movie? I haven't seen it yet.
People are enjoying it. I don't think it's as much loved as the first one was. I'll look it up on Rotten
I didn't
Tomatoes
really
if you
like
want.
the first one.
You didn't like the first one?
No.
Wakanda Forever currently has an 84% critic rating and a 95% audience score, so audiences are really loving it. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
To
Well, I'm
me-
gonna have to see it.
I enjoyed it more than the first one, but I'm not trying to take that away. If you enjoyed the first one, more power to you. This one just spoke more to me, and I really liked the introduction of Namor, even though I thought he looked kind of
Said
dumb.
he looked strange. With
Yeah, he looked weird with his
ankle
little
wings.
wings on his feet, but
He's like
it
Tinkerbell.
was a very interesting character, and what they did with the Aztec culture, I found very interesting.
Well-
So also, Wakanda Forever now has a total worldwide box office after this weekend of 546 million.
How much did it cost to make? Do we know? 300 million or
The
something?
budget of it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No
Probably
idea.
not 300 million. They don't make...
Well, with their advertising and all that stuff.
I'd have to look that up, which I'm
Well,
not going to
hopefully
do
they
right
did
now.
well with the movie.
So, number 2 this weekend
Yeah.
was The Menu.
Yes, and we saw
With
it.
9 million. Oh, by the way, all these facts come from boxofficemojo.com,
Okay.
which is a great source for numbers.
Cool.
The Menu at 9 million, which we saw, and we're going
It's
to
a very
talk about.
different kind of movie
Yep.
to Black Panther.
In number 4 was Black Adam,
Right.
with 4.5 million.
Yeah,
It's been
that's
out for
good.
about 4 or 5
4
weeks now.
Yeah, I'd say very good, yeah.
And the other new movie that came out this weekend was She Said, which
Right.
is the movie about the investigative journalism at the New York Times that started the Me Too movement and
Right.
brought down Harvey
Hasn't
Weinstein.
been much
It
publicity for
opened
that.
in the number 6 spot. Oh, it had terrible marketing, and it made 2.25 million, which is bad when it had a budget of 30 million.
A budget of 30 million.
Yeah,
This is just a bunch
that's
of
a-
people in office buildings and courtrooms?
Yeah, that's a flop. We'll talk about that movie because I saw it yesterday. Unless do you have any comments on any of those numbers? Anything surprise you there?
No, I think that She Said movie, I never even heard about it until like basically the day before it was coming out.
Yeah.
I saw a
No
little
marketing.
preview on television, I
Mhm.
believe, for it. I didn't hear anything about it, which is kind of bad, but you would hope people were talking about it more.
We'll get into that in a little bit when I get to my
Right.
review. So, trailers for this week.
Okay.
So, trailers. We talked about a couple last week, but we didn't really get into them. So, first one that we mentioned last week, Slumberland, which is now on Netflix. Did you watch the trailer for this? This is the one with Jason Momoa and the little kid, and they're off in a fantasy world, and
Yeah, I'm
it's
not really sure
pretty wacky and
what it's
crazy.
about.
Does this look appealing to
I
you?
think it's a film for little kids.
I think so, too.
I read something about it. I still see. I think it's for little kids.
I watched the
So-
trailer for it, and it didn't really appeal to me at all.
Well, if it's for little kids, it's not really our thing. But
Well, you
We
can
don't
have a
have-
kids movie that's really good that
Well,
that adults
there's kids
enjoy.
movies and then there's little kids movies.
Mhm.
And there's a difference there, right? We don't have a little kid in our house anymore.
Are
so.
you going to check out this movie on Netflix?
If this cold goes on for longer and I'm stuck in the house, maybe.
It is highly unlikely I'm going to get to watching this with all the things that are coming out on streaming and new movies all the time.
Right.
This is not something that I just don't want to waste my time watching subpar content or something that I'm really not interested in. Moving on, Disenchanted on Disney Plus.
Right.
I'll tell you something funny. I watched this trailer 3 times and I can barely remember what's in it.
Oh, I just watched it.
It's
I
just
did
so
watch the
forgettable.
first movie. But
Enchanted?
yeah, it was before my child was born. It seems like another lifetime. I did see it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was cute. I think I have like a positive outlook on the movie.
I think I saw it too, but I have no memory of it.
I did see it. I know I saw it, but maybe we should have that at our family movie night and watch the 2 of them. It might be fun. The second one does look interesting, although I hate it when they show a mother with a little baby and her hair looks perfect and the baby's just sitting there being so happy jolly. That drives me nuts. But because we know she shouldn't be looking like that. Anyway,
well,
but
apparently it's not doing so good. I watched this.
It just came out, didn't it?
Yeah, it just came out on Disney Plus, which means it's a direct-to-streaming movie, which means they didn't put it in theaters, so they have no confidence in the movie. So it currently has a 40% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 59% audience score. That's bad.
Ooh, that doesn't look good.
So I watched the trailer, didn't look good to me. I'm not going to check this out. And based on those ratings, I'm definitely not going to check it out.
Well, I don't know. It had a lot going on in the trailer. It basically told the trailer. Unfortunately, the one I saw, basically told the story of the movie, which I hate. Instead of just giving you hints.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I might watch it if I have time. It's not going to be up there on my list of things to do. But the next movie is...
Oh, yes. The next movie looked really good. We watched the trailer for Weird, the Al Yankovic story, which is going to be on the Roku channel.
Whatever
I'm looking forward to this. I don't even know what that is, but I think we have access to it because it's free. I think this is going to be one of those things where they're like, we made this movie and you want to see it. First taste is free. And then we'll make another movie you want to see, and then you got to pay. That's what I think they're doing.
Well, and this is also a parody, like his videos and his songs. It's not the true life story of Weird Al.
Is it?
No, yeah, it's all fiction.
Know.
Apparently, in the movie, he has an affair with Madonna.
I don't know. Did he have an affair with Madonna?
No. He said, as he was watching it, it was like watching himself in another life. When he watched the movie. Yeah. And Daniel Radcliffe is playing him.
Yeah, who's Harry Potter, by the way.
He liked it. He saw him once sing a song, that animal or mineral or vegetable song, and he thought that, yeah, he could be just as weird as me.
Yeah. I'm going to check this out.
Oh, yeah. Well, we love Weird Al.
Hopefully we'll review that for the next episode.
I hope it's funny like he is, but it'll be interesting.
Next, Mickey, the Story of a Mouse. Did you have a chance to check this out?
I did. I've seen lots of documentaries before about Mickey Mouse. This is one put on by Disney, so I think it's going to be just the same kind of thing, talking about him, Steamboat and everything. But I really feel like Mickey Mouse and the magic around him is definitely not the same as in the 80s, like when I was a kid and people were going to the theme parks and it was like Sunday night was Disney and you were there sitting in front of the television with your whole family watching it. None of that.
With the Mickey Mouse Club and Sunday night was the Disney Channel.
Yeah, Disney show. Yeah, none of that.
Well, they had a channel for a while.
Well, we never had the channel. We had CBC and Disney was on Sunday
I'm not going
to
comment too much on this documentary that they made yet because I'm going to review it because I had a chance to watch it.
It looks like the same kind of thing I've seen before.
I saw the trailer and I'm like, hey. And I said, it's only a short documentary. It's an hour and a half. I checked it out, so I'll do a review on that in a bit.
Blowing their own horn.
Next one is a Hulu show, Welcome to Chippendales, which has Kumail Nanjiani in it.
Right.
It looks like a very interesting and it's one of those business stories where he creates this thing and then other people try to steal it away from them and then there's some, backdoor shenanigans. Because, even the poster, it has the Chippendale tie, the bow tie, and then it has blood dripping down it.
Right, so there was some backstabbing, obviously.
I guess. It's like those, it's business, right? It's nothing
I don't
personal.
know.
It's just business, and they're fighting over this business they
I don't
created.
know. If that story is interesting, then it might be interesting, but I'm really not that interested.
You're not interested, Joe?
Just an origin of Chippendales does not interest me. But if it's got some backstabbing and more to it, then it might
After
be
watching the trailer, I might check it out. I'll try to. Once again, it just comes down to time. Do I have the time to watch this?
Right.
Moving on. The Fabelmans from Universal Pictures. That comes out in a week, I think.
Right.
I think it's released in limited release in certain markets, and then it gets a wide release, so it'll be here in a week or two. This is the new Spielberg movie, which they're talking is for award season, so this is an Oscar contender. Are you interested in this movie after watching the trailer?
Not extremely. I heard about it a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
I never could make film when we didn't have a video camera or anything as a child. If you were a child that could do that, was really into making your own content and stuff like that, I think that would be right up your alley. But saying that, he makes some really good movies. So maybe it'll be really good. I don't know. I enjoyed Super 8, like I was saying.
But he didn't direct Super 8.
But he was involved in it.
He was an executive producer.
His history making films as a child. I really enjoyed that one. I don't think you liked it, but I really liked that movie.
No, that's a J.J. Abrams film.
I really enjoy it.
I tend not to enjoy J.J. Abrams films.
I tend not to like J.J.
Let's not get into that now.
I don't know. We'll see. I'll see what the critics are saying. It's not really my thing, but if it's a well done show,
it's coming out in the theaters, so if I have time to get to the theaters, I'm going to check that out because I like to go see things in the theater.
And I might go.
Next one. Coming out from United Artists, Bones and All, Timothée Chalamet. I think it's Manla Stenberg is the other star.
Yeah.
Does this look interesting to you?
To me, I just watched it. It looks like Natural Born Killers, only not done as well.
Has a high score, 87% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and 80% audience score. And it stars Timothée Chalamet, Teresa Park. I was wrong. It's not Amanda Stenberg.
It looks like a modern Natural Born Killers, but that film was pretty well done. I don't know.
In the 80s?
94.
Okay.
I own it, actually.
You do? Excellent. You got it on physical media. We're promoting physical media.
It's an Oliver Stone Tarantino movie, both. Okay. And anyway, they were using... In the preview, they used Leonard Cohen's song. Yeah, and I don't know. You want it darker? I really don't like them using that song.
I watched this trailer, and this looks terrible to me.
Yeah, it looks like a knockoff of Natural Born Killers.
If I go see this in theater, it's because I've seen everything else in theater, and this is the last thing left to see, because I like to go to the theater a couple times a week. But with the amount of movies coming out in theaters right now for awards season, it's unlikely I'll get to it because I don't see every movie in the theater, even though I try. But it's about two cannibals in the 80s, and they're genetically different, and they have to eat people.
Killing people or something.
And yet they're discovering their identity. This looks like a mess.
I feel like it's disrespecting the song, because of course that's Leonard Cohen's last album. He recorded just before he died, and that song is a very deep song, kind of about his death, essentially. So I kind of feel like they were abusing the song.
So are you going to go see Bones and All in the theater?
No, not unless someone says it's better than Natural Born Killers. We'll just watch Natural Born Killers again.
If I hear some really good reviews, if people email in or if I see lots of good reviews online, I'll check it out. But at this point, it's unlikely I'm going to.
Look stylized. It just looks like a bunch of people stabbing people and blood everywhere.
Okay. Next, we got Strange Worlds from Pixar. Now, this is an interesting one because this is the first Pixar movie going into theaters for a while, which, going back to our previous point, is another blunder from Bob Chapek because he took Pixar movies and put them directly onto streaming, which pissed off everyone at Pixar Studios. Yeah, that was the first one, and now this one. This one has had no marketing campaign. I've seen nothing for it. I had to actually go look up the trailer. I think this might not be good, and that's why they have not spent any marketing money on it.
It looks like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. It looks like that, the way the animation is. I don't know. It might just be corny. It might be beautiful. I can't tell. The preview I don't know.
Didn't tell you what it's
It
about.
doesn't look. It looks like Coyote with a Chance of Meatballs, but not as funny. That's what I got from it. And we'll just have to see. I don't know.
The trailer wasn't funny.
No, it's not funny. But I don't know if it's uplifting either. I just can't tell.
I suspect that this is going to be this is one they're trying to release quietly, and that's why there's been no marketing.
It's a generational film about a father, a son, and a grandson.
Yeah, going to this strange world.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't get a sense of what it really is about. What are they doing? What are they looking for? I don't get a sense of it from the trailer. So you're looking
forward to seeing this in theaters next week?
Oh, next week? I probably don't have time because I have to get caught up and all this. I need to see the Wakanda movie first.
Yes, maybe I'll take you to that next weekend.
Yeah, we should go to that. If I'm feeling better.
I don't think I'll see Strange World from Pixar.
We'll watch
but
it. But if
I hear good things about it, I'll go check it out. Otherwise, this is one I'm going to pass on. Next one is the one we got. We watched the trailer for a while ago. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. That's why I got my cup here. Which introduces Kevin Bacon into the MCU.
Well, they've already talked about him.
And this is from James Gunn with all the Guardians in it. Right. I'm looking forward to this. It's coming out this Friday on Disney Plus. I'm going to watch it because I already have Disney Plus, so I'm already paying for it.
To watch it. I hope it's not too corny, but maybe it'll just be really, really corny and that's the purpose. I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll have to see what the tone is. But, yeah, to explain about the Kevin Bacon, the main character gets taken from Earth when Kevin Bacon is really big, and he has a tape and he dances. He likes to dance like Kevin Bacon. So that's
because he grew up watching Footloose.
Yeah,
there's the guy right there, Star-Lord, which is Chris Pratt.
Kevin Bacon is going to be in it.
Yeah. Because all of his references are from the 80s and 80s and the 70s, and some from the 60s. Because he was abducted in the 80s.
He didn't make it back
so
the 80s.
He thinks that some of the movies from the 80s are the greatest movies ever, like Footloose, and what was another one that he references there?
E.T.? I don't know. I don't know which ones he references. It's more about the music.
It's been a while since I've seen
more about the music.
The first or second Guardians movie.
He likes to listen to his mixtapes.
Yeah, because he has the Sony Walkman.
He has a Walkman, which, yes, when... In the 80s, the Walkman was everything.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Got me through my childhood.
Now he's got a Zoom.
Oh.
Okay, which holds like 300 songs, so now he's listening to that.
Oh.
Anyway, I am looking forward to the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special because it's by James Gunn, and James Gunn just makes amazing stories. So I'm definitely going to check this out this Friday.
I hope it's not too... corny.
Okay.
But
any other news or trailers you want to bring up before we jump into the reviews?
No, that's everything.
Okay, so let's jump right into the reviews. Let's start off with the first one that we watched here recently at home. On Netflix, we watched Pepsi, Where's My Jet? Which is a 4-episode limited series documentary, which is about the Pepsi Points contest that Pepsi Cola had in the 90s, where you would buy Pepsi products, collect points that were on the product, and then you could turn it in for free swag. So it's a promotional deal for kids.
Yeah.
And they put in a joke at the end where if you had 7 million points, you could get a Harrier jet.
Which isn't very many points.
Well, and we learned
out why.
we learned a lot about it.
And why it didn't happen in Canada.
No, this didn't happen in Canada. I saw these ads in Canada, except in Canada they had a disclaimer at the end. Because that's what you do.
Right. But you were a Coke drinker, so you probably said, I'm not.
Oh, I was drinking Pepsi at the time. I collected tons of Pepsi points.
Were you trying to get the jet?
No, I wasn't trying to get the jet. It was unrealistic.
When this was up.
I remember I got a bunch of Pepsi swag. I got a shirt.
Oh.
And I got a bunch of us. I might have even got the glasses too.
Right.
I didn't get enough for the leather jacket that the kid in the commercial was wearing.
I never drank pop.
I found this story. This story was fascinating to me. However, as we watched it, first episode we noticed they're kind of dragging it out. They're kind of spreading it out a bit too much.
It's spread out.
Could have done it in 2 or 3 episodes instead of 4 episodes of 40 minutes. Just a 1 hour and a half
documentary, really. It's like trying to sell a lifestyle, I think, of the main character. Seems more like it. Maybe. It's all about this Hoffman guy and where he lives and where he's hiking and stuff like that. I thought it was just a bunch of middle-aged men making themselves feel good about themselves. That's kind of what I got from it.
I'm surprised that Michael Avenatti was involved with this.
It was rather... Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting story in the end. It could have been an hour.
Petered out in the end, unfortunately.
Could have been an hour. I mean,
they could have condensed it more.
It was done in a nice style, but it was way too dragged out, and and it just seems like a bunch of old guys.
Overall, it was okay. So, What would you say at the end of the day? Would you recommend people watch this or just skip it?
You got a lot of time, you can watch it. But if you know what happened, don't watch it, because it's not going to be anything interesting for you.
It starts out good for me, and then as it's diminishing returns, and then finally the last one just petered out. So I didn't like the ending, so I give this the worst series ever.
Yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10. That's my rating.
Okay.
I got my own.
Next, we went out to the theaters on Saturday, and we saw The Menu with Ralph Fiennes, Anna Taylor-Joy, and Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah. It was, I really had a fun time.
Mm-hmm.
I watch cooking shows. And I'm a bit of a foodie, although I'm allergic to a lot of foods, but I am a bit of a foodie. And, but I do cook. But you're not a foodie.
I understand that whole world.
Yeah. And I do watch some cooking shows. They do kind of, I don't know. Anyway, it was, I thought it was really good.
No spoilers here.
Taking it to the next level. I really enjoyed it. I really thought it was a good movie. Of course, the acting is excellent in it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where it's going.
Don't you?
You don't.
Okay.
I didn't know where it was going. No.
I thought it pretty much lays out what's going to happen in the first 20 minutes, and then the rest is just this is how it carries out.
What happened at the end? And there was some surprises in there.
Mm-hmm.
With Nicholas Holt's character.
His character was so annoying. He's just one of these
what it was
crazed nuts who he has to take pictures of his food. He has to sit there and savor everything, and he talks about all the flavors.
But he can't cook.
He won't let Anna Taylor-Joy smoke at the beginning because it's going to ruin her palate because of the smoking.
It is a thing. I mean, they were paying a lot of money to eat the meal.
This movie, $12.50 a plate.
Yeah.
$12.50 per person, where they go to this exclusive island.
Right.
You have to get off ferry and go to this private island where they set up this restaurant.
Of course. And an island where you can't escape.
Yeah. So Ralph Fiennes, he's this over-the-top chef.
That's what they all are like.
That takes it way too seriously.
That's what they all are.
He has his own cult of chefs on this island that live on this island. So
it's very common.
First 20 minutes, they lost me. I don't believe this. This is so ridiculous. I didn't believe it in the first 20 minutes.
I see that certain chefs have it. Like, they have a cult following. And that's what this is about.
I understand how they're being so particular about their foods and they're carving it out as if it's art, although you're just going to eat it anyway.
Yeah, I know, but that's what
it
it's supposed to be.
It seems to be kind of a waste of time. It's way too much.
It's about
that's not where they lost me.
Well, this
cult on this island of his employees is where they lost me.
Okay, we're giving away too much.
I'm not giving away anything. That's in the trailer.
I give it a 9 out of 10.
To me, this movie was okay, and because of that, I'm going to have to give it a worst movie ever. This movie makes the cardinal sin of just being okay, and okay means bland, easily forgettable. I'm never going to watch this movie again.
I really liked it.
So I really don't care.
Anybody that likes to cook and watches cooking shows will really enjoy it. Anyone that does that professionally will enjoy it.
It passed the time, but I'll never go back to it.
Okay.
Can you see yourself watching this movie again?
Well, you know me. I don't like to watch movies again until I forget what happened. So I'll watch it again when I forget, whenever that will be.
All right.
I probably will remember this one, though.
Next review, I went yesterday to go see the other new movie, which has flopped this weekend, She Said, which is from Universal Pictures. Now, this is the story of the investigative journalists, the two of them, who do the investigative journalism for New York Times, and they expose Harvey Weinstein and all his crimes and abuses towards women.
Right.
I was not expecting, but I was hoping that this movie would have more of the the fallout
The Me
of
Too
when.
movement, essentially.
Yes, this is what started the Me Too movement in with Trump, right? So I was hoping that this movie was going to be when this was more of when the story breaks, and then the fallout and all the bad things that happened to Weinstein, how he's currently rotting in prison because he's currently serving 23 years in prison.
It was just about.
It was all the investigative journalism leading up to it.
Oh,
It
I'm not familiar with
reminded me.
that.
It reminded me of Steven Spielberg's The Post from a few years back,
I didn't see that one.
which was the Washington Post investigating Watergate,
Oh, okay. Yes.
where essentially the end of that movie leads right into All the President's Men, if you ever saw that movie, which is about the Watergate scandal. So, except that movie, Spielberg's movie The Post, had Meryl Streep in it. It had a bunch of other famous actors in it. And it's Spielberg,
It's an interesting
so it was
story.
more interesting. However, that movie was kind of boring too.
Right.
And this was a slog to get through.
This is such an important topic. It's too bad.
It is important, but it's a difficult topic to watch. And you're watching just over 2 hours of investigative journalism, and I'm just like, come on, move it along.
I guess if you're a writer, you might like
Even
it. But
other pundits are saying that this movie was drawn out too much and that they should have cut more down.
Oh.
When I got out of this movie, it's not that I was tired when I got out of this movie. I didn't fall asleep in it, but I felt I had to. It's as if I was drained from watching it, from forcing myself to sit there for just over 2 hours watching it, and then the rest of the day I was exhausted.
Well, it's too bad they didn't make it about the movement and what's happened now. It's too bad. Because I bet you they won't make another movie now about it.
Well, they might. I mean, they did Bombshell, and that was more entertaining than this. Also had more star power, but it wasn't star power. It wasn't performances that were bad in this.
No, it was just a long.
It was more the direction and the editing and
story.
focusing too much on the investigative journalism, which I don't want to see that.
Okay.
I don't want to see them talking to all these witnesses and people involved in, oh, no, I can't comment. No, I can't go on the record. And they just keep getting so upset that no one will go on the record. And I'm sitting there. I don't care.
Oh.
I know it's an important topic.
You're impatient.
But it's a tough subject to watch.
Okay.
To learn about. I give this the worst movie ever. It was just way too boring.
Okay.
Next, did you have something you want to review? Or would you like me to jump into another
It's
review?
not a movie. It's just a show that I've been watching for a while, and I don't know if probably our viewers have heard of it, and they might have seen it too, because it's on something on network television.
Ooh.
And it is Ghosts. And it's here in Newfoundland. It's on NTV. It's also on Global, nationally in Canada, and it's on CBS. It's a CBS show. It actually originally was a BBC show, just like The Office. They had a show, and then the Americans made their own version of it. I have seen an episode of the British one, and it's just...
This is a CBS show? Is this it?
Yeah, that's it there. It's not as punchy. The
got
British
high
one,
scores.
It is. It's a really fun show. I didn't care. The British one is okay, but this Ghost is very well put together. It's only a short, evening show.
96% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Great
82% audience score, so
I
people are
love
loving
the show. Even though it's about ghosts, it's a very uplifting show.
Is it a comedy?
It doesn't
Nice,
get down
nice.
too deep into things, although it does. It's a beautiful show. It's 2 seasons now. It's halfway through the 2nd season. And what it's about is a young millennial couple. They're in the city, and the wife inherits a big old mansion from her relatives. And they go there, and she's inherited, so they decide instead of selling it, they're going to open up a B&B.
Okay.
And it's a mess, the place. The old aunt was living there, and she was ill.
How old is this house?
I don't know. It's from the 1800s anyway.
Okay, so it's not a small house from the 50s.
No, it's a
or so.
mansion.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a mansion.
From the
stone
From the
mansion.
19th century.
Yeah. And basically, they're renovating it. There's all these ghosts in the house, and they can see them, and they're interested in what they're doing. And she falls down the stairs. I won't say how. She hits her head, and all of a sudden she can see and hear the ghosts.
Which is exactly what happens when you hit your head.
Yes. And so all of a
I can't
sudden,
wait for that
but
to happen
the
to me.
awkward thing is, it's hard for them to make the show because their husband cannot see or talk to the ghosts, right? He can't hear them or see them.
Who plays her husband?
It is, I don't remember what his name is. He has a long name.
Is it?
He is great, though.
Ukarsh?
Yes. That is him.
I'm Bud Carr. I'm probably
That is him.
butchering that, but I
That
know
is
this
him.
guy because he was in Amazon original Brittany Runs a Marathon a few
in
years
a
back,
lot
which was
of
a great
things.
movie. Yeah, he's
I
really
think
good.
Was he in Community? I never really watched that. He was in some other
I don't know.
comedy type
He's in
shows.
a few things.
He's
I keep
in
seeing
a
him
lot
pop
of
up.
things. He was just in a series that I watched too, but Never Have I Ever. He's in that too. But anyway, he's like a geeky guy, her husband. Anyway, she sees the ghosts, and there's a whole bunch of them. And it's funny, because some of them are really stuck in their time. Others are not. The oldest ghost is actually the most modern ghost. And he's probably from the year, 500 AD. And then the next ghost is
from what? The Roman Empire?
He's a native guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is in the States. So, and then the next is a Viking who came over and got left behind. He's the next.
He literally missed the boat.
Yes.
When they were
And then
leaving.
there's Isaac, who's in the war against the British, and his the British guys are there too. He's on the American side.
So you're talking about the American Revolution?
Yes, and they have
Okay,
them,
so
and they have
1700s.
they have a lady who is the ancestor of Samantha, who's inherited the house, and she was basically, I think they were robbers or something. She was and she's like a rich lady. Anyway, they have lots of funny ghosts. They have a ghost with no pants.
Doesn't like pants? Is it Kevin Smith? Because he doesn't wear pants.
He doesn't have pants. And they have a guy from the 80s, a Boy Scout leader, and they have a hippie. It's really funny. And they're just fun. The ghosts are fun. And we learn the history of why they're dead. That there's an episode about every ghost.
Yeah, so how they died.
There. Yeah, and how
Wouldn't
they
that
got
be
there.
sad and tragic?
It's not, though.
So they die in a
not.
hilarious way.
No, it's a more uplifting show. And that's the whole thing. Now this is the ghost terminology. When they die, most of them go to heaven, or AKA get sucked off.
Interesting term to use.
And they can't wait to get sucked off and go to heaven. But it hasn't happened for them. But they do meet other ghosts too in the show in different places. But none of the ghosts can leave where they're basically on this property. They can't leave their property.
So they're in purgatory until they get to ascend to heaven, or they get sent to hell.
Yes. We won't go into that, but that can
It reminds
happen.
me of that old Patrick Swayze movie, Ghost.
No, this is a
where he
much lighter
stuck it-
version.
Yeah, that was a dark film.
The British version has different kinds of ghosts, because of course this is the American version and stuff. But it's funny too. But I don't find it as good as this one.
You recommend people check
Yeah,
this
I
out?
recommend them see. They'll
That's a high
enjoy
score.
it. It's fun, and I watched a few of them twice because they keep on, of course, repeating them because it is on network TV. So I've seen them quite a few times, and it's uplifting. And the ghosts the whole idea is that the ghosts are trying to overcome whatever it is that's left them in purgatory. And once they are okay with everything, then they get sucked off. So this is their dream. But they're making the best of it. They're very excited to have someone that actually can hear and see them. And now they can watch TV, and they get her to look up things on the internet.
And you said they're stuck in this house.
Yeah, on the property. They can go around the property.
Why are they stuck in this house? Can you tell us, or is that a spoiler?
The rule is where you die is where you lay. You don't get to...
And they all died on this property.
Yes, they all died on the property. And it tells how they died on the property.
So if you die in a subway station, you're stuck in the subway station?
There's some ghosts stuck in the newspaper agency downtown in this story. There's ghosts everywhere. Next door neighbor, his mother is a ghost. And the next door neighbor, they have kind of lousy next door neighbors, but his mother is there and all she does is complain about him. Yeah.
Sounds like the Bates Motel.
She's from like
Psycho.
the 50s or 60s. No. It's
yeah,
not
this
like
sounds
that.
like the Bates Motel.
No, you're saying it's very fun.
Did you ever see Psycho?
It's a very fun show. And there's
Classic movie.
The guy from the Civil War, from the war against the British, he's always complaining about
American
Hamilton.
Revolution.
He's complaining about Hamilton all the time because he was a rival of Hamilton's, and he can't believe how much Hamilton has succeeded. And every time he hears about Hamilton, he always is trying to put him down. It's just really funny.
What's this character's name?
That's Isaac.
Isaac what?
I don't know if we know his last name. I think he has like
Isaac
a funny.
Newton?
No, it's like Luftwaffe or something like that. He has a funny last name. It doesn't matter what his last name is.
Okay.
You just gotta see the show, and yeah, there's Sass and there's Thor, and that's their names. They're just funny.
And you would recommend this show for everyone to check out?
Yeah, I think everyone would like it. Yeah.
And it's on CBS.
Yeah, our daughter likes it too. Yeah.
Yeah, it says right here it's a CBS show.
It's pretty. They don't really swear or anything in the show. It's a
Well,
tiny bit.
it's network
It's a tiny
television.
bit racy. It's a tiny bit racy once in a while, but
Still, it's network television. It's going to be pretty tame.
Yeah. It's a sweet show.
Yeah.
I recommend it on Friday nights right now. Here anyway.
Okay, excellent. Good review.
Okay.
Did you ever finish watching The Lazarus Project?
No,
or
I
did you
put
tap
that
out of
on
that?
hold because
It's no good?
No, well, there's not really any new ones coming out. I'm still watching Magpie Murders, and next week I'll review Miss Scarlet and the Duke. I'm still watching that. So when I get caught up on all those shows, I might go back to. I haven't gone back to it because it hasn't been to the quality of the other shows that I've been watching.
Moving on to our next review, I'm going to review something I just saw today. So as we mentioned earlier, Mickey, the Story of a Mouse, which is the Disney Plus documentary on Mickey Mouse. I watched this.
Oh, you did watch it?
It's not very good.
No.
I've seen better documentaries on the history of the Walt Disney Company and on their characters. It did touch on some of the war stuff, Mickey in the war, from the Second World War, because Mickey's from 1919.
I know, he's from a long time ago.
Yep. It did. I found that it focused too much on the golden age of Mickey, when Walt Disney was still alive, and when this was the biggest character in the world, and everyone in the world could identify with this because they would put out cartoons and they would be in different languages because they just put different voiceover on it. It's definitely a Disney puff piece.
Yeah, that's what it seemed to me. If it's done by Disney, I mean, it's not going to get hard hitting because there's some stuff about Walt Disney that could be in there. Don't fool it is.
No, they didn't put in the stuff about Walt Disney and some of his beliefs.
Yeah, that's if someone else made the documentary, that might be in there.
Anti-Semitic beliefs.
Yeah.
However, it did talk a little bit about Mickey in counterculture. What it didn't get into was the copyright issues, because Mickey Mouse is over 100 years old now.
Oh, but they've got that locked down.
And yet, yeah, they've been avoiding copyright laws for decades.
Oh, you got to watch it. Like, even, I know, like, making things, like, on last night someone was posting that they want to see pictures of Disney characters that they've made. Because they had a customer ask them to make some Disney things, and they're like, whoa, everyone's like, don't do that, watch out, don't publish that.
There was one small section in it, and I'm surprised they put it in there, where there was a daycare that in their outdoor play area on the side of the daycare building, they painted Mickey and Minnie and a couple of the Disney characters, and Disney went after them and made them take it down.
Well,
they had to paint over it.
Controversy in Canada where the Mounties somehow belonged to Disney?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. You gotta watch. They're very good at their own property, but you don't want to, make something.
I don't agree that this character that's over 100 years old should still be owned by this company. They can still use it, but it should be public domain. I mean, Winnie the Pooh is now public domain, and we're getting a lot of
Winnie stuff.
We're getting a new Winnie the Pooh movie. Yeah. That's a horror movie.
People love, I think,
Blood and Honey or something like that.
People love Winnie the Pooh more than they do Mickey, because Mickey doesn't really doesn't really have a personality when I think of him. I don't really think of Mickey.
They didn't address really in this documentary how today Mickey Mouse has just faded into obscurity.
Not really that relevant. No.
Yeah. Do kids today know Mickey Mouse? Do they care?
The girls
won't know they'll know who... a lot of people know Mickey Mouse, but do they care? Is this an important character for them?
There was a lot of... When our daughter was growing up, there was a lot of Minnie Mouse stuff.
Oh, there still is stuff if you go to the Disney store.
No, just to buy Minnie Mouse stuff. But really, unless you're going to the theme parks, I think the Mickey Mouse itself is not going to be something.
It's not really big in our culture today, and that's why I believe that because the character is so old and so faded into obscurity, that this should be public domain now. There's been parodies of Mickey Mouse that have been made. South Park did one years ago, and other companies have done them.
Sued, I imagine.
I don't know about that, and I don't have that information.
You have to be careful.
But if I had Paramount Plus, I'd be able to watch that South Park episode at any time. They've done parodies of everything.
Right, yes. Maybe they did.
I don't recommend checking out this documentary, even though it's only an hour and a half long. I give this a worst series ever. That just came out. But if you're really interested in Mickey Mouse, check it out. It's on Disney Plus. Did you have anything else you wanted to review?
Well, if I look at those characters, I kind of like Donald Duck better. I don't know. I've never. I always
really liked Donald Duck more too.
He doesn't have a personality, Mickey.
Actually, in the 90s, there was also a good movie, the Goofy movie, which I enjoyed a lot at the time.
Enjoyable, yeah. I don't find Mickey and Minnie is sort of like a Betty Boop type of thing. I don't really find that Mickey has anything that he's good at everything.
I think he was too much tied to Walt Disney.
He's a bit of a Captain America type.
I'd say he's more boring than Captain America because he doesn't have a personality,
right.
And they just make him so generic to
what's the word Donald Duck. He gets in trouble
to relate to every character,
to
everyone, regardless of your beliefs and your culture and your background.
Just
too much of a generic character for me.
Yeah, I'd rather Donald. He's funny.
Yeah, because he's the troublemaker.
All the time.
According to this documentary, they created Donald Duck because they didn't want Mickey doing those things, being a troublemaker and getting angry and doing all those things. They wanted Mickey to be more nice and heartfelt. But people aren't
like that, right? We like Donald because he's more believable.
Because he's flawed.
And Goofy, too. He's falling down, being klutz.
Yeah, because he's dumb. Like he's dumb and he's a klutz.
Switch my T's out here.
And Donald Duck is always feisty and getting into trouble. And I remember there's some Second World War stuff with Donald Duck that's...
Did he enlist? Is that what it's
There's
called?
some pretty edgy stuff there with Donald Duck, which you probably could find on Disney Plus because they got their whole library on there. We could watch stuff from the 40s.
I definitely, Anyway, poor Mickey. I mean, I don't really have anything against the character, but it's never been a thing that I've been into.
I don't have a special place in my heart for this character,
well,
so I say worst series ever on this. This is not worth my time. I don't want to watch generic stuff.
Right.
Did you want to review something else, or would you like us to wrap it up?
No, I think we should wrap up. My voice is still here, so let's quit while we're at it. Okay.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can send us an email, and we will read it out on the show. That is CanadaMovieTVHosers@gmail.com. I will put that on the screen and in the description below. You can also follow us on Twitter, if it's still around. The show's Twitter handle is...
If there's still a Twitter.
At Canada Hosers. Feel free to follow us there, and I post when new episodes go up. If you want to get in touch with us on Twitter, use the hashtag Canada Hosers, and I'll find that. Or you can follow me on Twitter at St. John's Critic. Be sure to like our video if you like it, and subscribe. That will help us out. Anything you wanted to end with?
No, I think that's everything. We'll see you next week.
Excellent. Okay, take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.